Olaves and Newstead Homework 17 walkthrough. Question 1. So the question asks, according to the text, why are some restaurant owners not so happy about the growing number of gourmet food trucks? We have a few options here. Option A says that food trucks have more different kinds of food than restaurants. Option B suggests that food trucks get more customers because they're bright and colorful. Option C says that food trucks are direct competition because they sell similar high-quality food at a cheaper price. Finally, option D says that food trucks are more convenient, so people go to restaurants less. The correct answer is option C, and the explanation is that restaurant owners are concerned because food trucks sell fancy meals, but they sell them for less money. This can make customers choose a food truck instead of going to a restaurant. Question 2. Now this question is asking what the passage suggests makes food trucks appealing. Is it their quick service or maybe exotic food? Or is it a limited menu that makes them feel special? Or is it just that they're casual and you don't need reservations? The correct answer here is option C, that food trucks offer a limited and exclusive menu. The explanation is that many food trucks like to focus on a few special items, and that makes them feel more unique and interesting to people. Question 3. Next up, we need to figure out what people think about food trucks compared to restaurants, based on the passage. Are food trucks seen as less safe? As a novelty not to be taken seriously? As more affordable and diverse? Or as less convenient? The correct answer is option C, that food trucks are seen as offering more affordable and diverse food choices. The passage suggests that people often think of food trucks as a fun place to get different kinds of food, and it doesn't cost as much as eating at a restaurant. Question 4. This question talks about city regulations. Some cities make food trucks have permits and limit the amount of those permits. Why would they do that? Is it to make sure they're clean and safe? To encourage cooking in the trucks? To protect restaurants from competition? Or to prevent traffic problems? The correct answer is option C, to protect traditional restaurant owners from unfair competition. Cities often limit these permits to help protect restaurants, so the restaurants don't struggle because food trucks sell food at lower prices. Question 5. Now let's talk about how food trucks are changing the food scene. Are they making traditional street foods go away, or are they making the food scene more diverse? Are food trucks only for rich people, or do they only serve lunch crowds? The correct answer here is option B. Food trucks are promoting a more diverse and international food scene in cities. Food trucks offer many different types of food from around the world, which gives people more options and lets them try new tastes. Question 6. So what makes food trucks so popular, according to the passage? Is it that you can order online? That you can track them with an app? Is it because they are cheaper? Or because they ban cooking in the vehicle? The correct answer is option C, the low prices offered by food trucks. Many people enjoy food trucks because they can get tasty food for less money than they would at a regular restaurant. Question 7. This question is about what role city officials play in all this. Do they support the trucks? Do they favor restaurants? Do they not know much about the food truck business? Or are they promoting food trucks to get more tourists? The correct answer is option B. City officials prioritize the interests of traditional restaurant owners over food truck operators. City rules often favor restaurants, making it harder for food trucks to get permits and do business. Question 8. What is the secret to the success of food trucks, according to the passage? Is it the easy permits, the gourmet ingredients, the customers wanting more upscale options, or the partnership between trucks and restaurants? The correct answer here is option C, the increasing demand from customers for more upscale and diverse food options. People love to try new and exciting foods, so food trucks that have unique meals get really popular. Question 9. Finally, this question is asking why gourmet food trucks have become so popular. Is it because people prefer gourmet to regular street food? Because the gourmet is healthier? Because it's more affordable upscale food? Or is it because of food shows on TV? The correct answer is option C. Gourmet food trucks allow people to enjoy upscale dining at a lower cost. Gourmet food trucks offer better quality food, but they keep the prices lower than fancy restaurants, which is why more people like to eat there. Question 10. The passage implies that the popularity of food trucks may pose challenges for traditional restaurant owners, especially regarding option A, the need to invest in bright and colorful restaurant decorations to attract customers. Option B, the requirement to offer more diverse and international menu options. Option C, the competition in attracting customers, especially in specific locations and times. Option D, the necessity to incorporate gourmet ingredients and high-quality cooking methods. So the answer to question 10 is option C, the competition in attracting customers, especially in specific locations and times. Now, why is that the correct answer? Well, the passage explains that food trucks create competition because they can offer similar food but at lower prices, and they also tend to set up in areas where there are lots of people walking around, meaning they can draw customers away from traditional restaurants. Now, moving on to question 11. Question number 11, simplify the ratio 25 to 35. Okay, so to simplify a ratio, we need to divide both numbers by their greatest common factor. Do you remember what a greatest common factor is? It's the biggest number that divides into both numbers without leaving any remainders. For 25 and 35, that number is 5. So let's do the math. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. So the simplified ratio is 5 to 7. Explanation. Since both numbers are divisible by 5, we simplify the ratio to 5 to 7. All right, let's move on to question 12. Question number 12. Simplify the ratio 1845. Okay, just like before, we need to find the greatest common factor, or GCF, of 18 and 45. The greatest common factor here is 9. Now we divide. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and 45 divided by 9 is 5. So the simplified ratio is 2 to 5. Explanation. Dividing both terms by their GCF, the simplified ratio is 2 to 5. Next up, we have question 13. Question number 13, divide 700 pounds in the ratio 5, 3 to 2. Okay, so this time we are sharing something based on a ratio. Let's break it down. First, we need to figure out how many total parts there are in the ratio. If we add 5, 3, and 2 together, we get 10 total parts. Next, we need to find out how much each part is worth. So we divide the 700 pounds by 10, which equals 70 pounds. That means each part of the ratio is equal to 70 pounds. Now, we just need to multiply each part of the ratio by the value of one part, 70 pounds. 5 times 70 pounds is 350 pounds. 3 times 70 pounds is 210 pounds. And finally, 2 times 70 pounds is 140 pounds. So the answer is 350 pounds, 210 pounds, and 140 pounds. Explanation. We divided 700 pounds into 10 equal parts and assigned them based on the ratio, resulting in 350 pounds, 210 pounds, and 140 pounds. Okay, let's go to question 14. Question number 14, Alex and Thomas share 30 sweets in the ratio 3 to 2. How many sweets does Thomas have? All right, similar to the last question, first we need to add the parts of the ratio together. 3 plus 2 is 5. So there are a total of 5 parts in the ratio. Now we need to see how much one part is worth. We divide the 30 sweets by the 5 parts of the ratio, which gives us 6 sweets per part. Now, we need to see how many parts Thomas gets. Thomas gets 2 parts, and each part is worth 6 sweets, so Thomas has 2 times 6, which is 12 sweets. So the answer is 12 sweets. Explanation. Since the ratio is 3 to 2, Thomas gets 2 parts of the total 5 parts of sweets, which is 12 sweets. Okay, we are on to question 15. Question number 15. Sophie has 60 pencils. The ratio of sharpened to blunt pencils is 4 to 1. How many sharpened pencils does Sophie have? Okay, so let's find the total parts of the ratio. 4 plus 1 is 5. So there are 5 parts. Now let's find the value of one part. 60 pencils divided by 5 parts equals 12 pencils per part. We need to know how many sharpened pencils there are. Sharpened pencils get 4 parts of the ratio. So 4 multiplied by 12 pencils equals 48 sharpened pencils. So the answer is 48 pencils. Explanation. The ratio 4 to 1 means 4 out of every 5 pencils are sharpened. This gives us 48 sharpened pencils. All right, nearly there. On to question 16. Question number 16. Omar is making shortbread for 16 people. The given recipe serves 8 people. Okay, so we need to double the recipe, since 16 people is double 8 people. So we need to multiply each ingredient by 2. So if we double the ingredients, we get butter, 300 grams, castor sugar, 150 grams, plain flour, 350 grams, corn flour, 100 grams. Explanation. The original recipe serves 8 people, so for 16 people, we double the ingredient amounts. And finally, question 17. Question number 17, a recipe for scones serves 8 people. How much would be needed for 2 people? Okay, so this time we need to reduce the recipe, since 2 people is less than 8 people. 2 is 1/4 of 8, so that means we need to divide all the ingredients by 4. So after dividing by 4, we get butter, 15 g, flour, 65 grams, baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon, buttermilk, 45 milliliters. Explanation: we divide the recipe by 4 to adjust for only 2 people. Number 18. Question number 18. So Mary wants to make a delicious stuffed turkey for 10 people, but the recipe she has is only for 4 people. What do we do? Well, first we need to figure out our multiplier. That's a big word, but it just means the number we need to multiply the recipe by. To find that, we take the number of people Mary wants to feed, which is 10, and divide it by the number the recipe makes, which is 4. So 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. Now that we have the multiplier of 2.5, we just multiply each ingredient by 2.5. This means that instead of 0.5 kilograms of turkey, we need to buy 1.25 kilograms of turkey. 2. 5 red onions, that's a lot of onion, right? And for garlic, we would need 5 cloves instead of 2. For the yummy chestnut mushrooms, we need to use 375 grams, then 350 grams of spinach, and finally we'll need 750 milliliters of chicken stock. See? It's all about multiplying each ingredient by 2.5, since 10 people is 2.5 times the original recipe for 4 people. Question number 19. All right, question 19. Jessica wants to make vegetable soup for 9 people. The recipe she has only serves 6 people. What do we do here? Well, just like the last question, we need to find the multiplier. So we take the number of people Jessica wants to feed, which is 9, and divide it by the number the recipe makes, which is 6. If you do that math, 9 divided by 6 equals 1.5. So now that we have the multiplier, we multiply each ingredient by 1.5. This means we need 4.5 onions instead of 3, 450 grams of carrots, 390 grams of potatoes, 225 grams of celery, and 2.1 liters of vegetable stock. The idea again is to multiply each ingredient by 1.5, because 9 people is 1.5 times the original recipe for 6 people. Question number 20. Okay, on to question 20. Richard wants to bake shortbread for 3 people. The recipe he has is for 4 people. We've done this before, so what is the first thing we do? That's right, we find the multiplier. So we take the number of people Richard wants to make shortbread for, which is 3, and divide it by the number of servings in the recipe, which is 4. So 3 divided by 4 equals 0.75. Now we multiply each ingredient by 0.75. That means we use 60 grams of butter, 45 grams of castor sugar, 75 grams of plain flour, and 30 grams of corn flour. The key thing to remember is to multiply each ingredient by 0.75, since 3 people is 0.75 times the original recipe for 4 people. Question number 21. This is a different type of question now. We need to think about how things relate to each other. This question says that piano is to key, and it's asking us to find which pair of words has the same kind of relationship. Option A is guitar is to string. Option B is calculator is to number. Option C is food is to utensils. And option D is swan is to bird. The answer is option A, guitar is to string, because just like a piano uses keys to make sound, a guitar uses strings to make sound. Question number 22. Okay, this next question is about patterns in letters. We have the series A, B, D, G, K, P. We need to figure out the pattern and what letters would come next. Option A is VE, option B is UB, option C is VC, and option D is WD. The answer is option C, VC. Why? Well, look closely. The pattern between the letters increases by 1 each time. The letters A and B are next to each other, then B to D skips 1 letter, then D to G skips 2 letters, then G to K skips 3 letters, and K to P skips 4 letters. If we continue that pattern, the next letters would be V and C, skipping 5 letters. Question number 23. Now we need to think about opposites. The question says, the word gather is most nearly opposite to. Option A is disperse, option B is distant, option C is organize, and option D is assemble. The correct answer is option A, disperse. Gather means to bring things together, while disperse means to spread things out, so those two are opposites. Question number 24. Here's another pattern question. This time it's a pattern of letters and numbers. We have this series, A17, C15, J803. We need to figure out what the missing part is. Option A is E11, option B is D12, option C is E13, and option D is F12. The correct answer is option D, F12. The letters are going up by a step each time in the alphabet. The numbers are going down, but not by the same each time. If you look carefully, it's going down by 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So after C15, it should be E12, so option D is the answer. Question number 25. This question uses code words. It says, in a certain code language, water from river is written as du san fe. From mountain to river is written as san ged yan fe. Which one of the following options could be the code for people from mountain? Option A is suo du fe. Option B is suo san ged. Option C is suo san yan. And option D is suo ged yan. The correct answer is option B, suo san ged. If we compare both sentences, we see that from is san and river is fi. Thus, mountain is ged. Then, people must be suo. Therefore, the answer is suo san ged. Question number 26. This question gives us a bunch of words, and we need to put them in the right order to make a sentence. The words are, justice citizens demanded blocked, agitated, and roads. The question asks, when the words shown below are arranged to form a meaningful sentence, identify the fourth word from the options. Option A is citizens. Option B is justice. Option C is roads. And option D is demanded. The correct answer is option C, roads. The sentence would be, agitated citizens blocked roads and demanded justice. So the fourth word in the sentence is roads. Question number 27. Okay, last question for this section. This question asks us to find the odd one out. The words are zebra, cow, lion, rhinoceros, leopard, hyena. The options are zebra, cow, hyena, leopard. The correct answer is option B, cow. All the other animals listed are wild, and a cow is a domesticated animal that we keep on farms. Question 28. Which of the following words is nearest in meaning to reverie? Option A, siesta. Option B, daydream. Option C, somnambulist. Option D, nap. The correct answer to question 28 is option B, daydream. Explanation. Now, reverie is a fancy word for when you're lost in your thoughts, kind of like when you're just letting your mind wander. This is very similar to a daydream, where you're just thinking about things and not really paying attention to what's around you. So that's why daydream is the closest in meaning. Question 29. Identify the missing letters in the series. Z, A, Y, C, D, X, G, H. Option A, B, U, E, V. Option B, W, E, F, U. Option C, B, E, F, W. Option D, Y, W, E, F. The correct answer to question 29 is option C, B, E, F, W. Explanation. Okay, so this one is a bit tricky. There are actually two patterns going on here at the same time. For the letters in the odd places, like the first, third, fifth, and so on, we're counting backward in the alphabet. Z, Y, X, and so on. For the letters in the even spots, like the second, fourth, sixth, we're counting forward in the alphabet. A, C, D, and so on. So if we keep following both these patterns, we would get B, E, F, W. Question 30. Find the missing letters in the series. D, C, E, G, F, H, J, I, K. Option A, L, N, M. Option B, N, L, M. Option C, M, L, N. Option D, L, M, N. The correct answer to question 30 is option C, M, L, N. Explanation. Now here in this question, we have groups of 3 letters. Each group is formed by moving forward in the alphabet. However, the tricky thing is the letters are also mixed up a little. We can see that D, C, E is the same as C, D, E, but with the first 2 letters swapped. This is also seen in G, F, H, is F, G, H, but with the first 2 letters swapped. Following that pattern, we get I, J, K. Thus, if we follow that for the next group of letters, we would get Ella, Key, M, N. But swapping the first 2 letters around would give us M, Ella, Key, N. All right.
So now I'm going to be going through the answers to the MVR section of this homework. So for this first question, we're going to see what comes next in the pattern. So the first thing I've noticed about this pattern is that once the shape has repeated 4 times in 4 of the squares, in the fifth one it will disappear. For example, here we've got an X, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in this box there is no X. So we know there's not going to be an X in the answer figures. Another shape, so here we have this circle. Here we got it 3 times, then it's not in these two, so it's not going to be in the answer figure either, so we can rule out E. Then we've got a square. It's in the first two, but it's not in any of these, so we're not going to have it in the answer figure, so we can rule out C because we've got the square here. Then we've got this sun shape. Here we've got it 4 times, so we know it's not going to be in the 5th box. So we can rule out A because we've got the sun thing here. Then we've got this C, and it's not in any of these, so it's not going to be in the answer figure either. So we can rule out D because it's got the C here. So therefore the answer has got to be B. Next question. So in this one, the circle on this line touches the line, then it's in the opposite direction, and then it's touching this line again. So it touches the line twice, then in the opposite direction twice, then it's touching the line once. So in the answer box it's also going to be touching the line, so we can rule out C and D. Then now we've got to look at the squiggly things with the black circle thing attached to the end. So just zoom in and look a bit closer. So I'm just going to try and figure out a pattern here. So what I've noticed is that the ones on this side, they're always facing up. What I mean by that is the circle is always at the top and then the tail is always at the bottom. So in the answer option it's also got to be like that. So I'm going to rule out A because this one's upside down when it should be upright. And I'm going to rule out E because this one's also upside down. Because in all the problem figures, these ones were upright. So that's why the answer is B. These two are also upright here. Next question. So here, for this one, I'm going to start by saying what the answer is and then explain why. So the answer here is A. That's the odd one out. The reason why, in all the rest of them, the arrow, triangle, head thing, the black circle and white circle all go in a specific order clockwise. So here we got the triangle, then the black circle, then the white circle, going in that order clockwise round the square. Here we've got the black triangle, then we've got the the black circle, then the white circle. Again, this is still clockwise. Here we've got the triangle, circle, white circle. This is still clockwise. Then we've got this black triangle, black square, and the white circle going still clockwise. In the answer option, it goes the black triangle, then it goes the white circle, and then the black circle, which is in the wrong order. In this one, it's going anti-clockwise, which is wrong. That's why A is the odd one out. Next question. So, in the pattern, all of these lines are diagonal from the top left corner to the bottom right. It's going to be like that here as well. So we can rule out A. And also it's only one line. So we can rule out D as well, because here we've got two lines. And then we can also rule out C. So the answer is B. The reason for this is because, as you can see here, on the outside we've got these rectangle shapes. Same here in B, these rectangle shapes. Whereas here it's sort of diagonal. It cuts the square diagonally instead of straight, creating the crossover of the two rectangles with the square shape. As you can see, we've got this little square shape in each of the corners. We don't have that here, so that's why the answer is B, because we've got it here. Next question. So as you can see, the tail sort of thing of these shapes is pointing towards the middle, so I'm just going to draw it here. And then these lines are like, it's kind of like a mirror line. So here it's going to be here. So that's why the answer to this question is B. We've got this here and we've got this at the end. It's not C, even though that does look similar, because this line bit is in the middle when it should be more towards the end. And it's not D because this is actually touching the top line when it shouldn't be. And it's not A because this is sort of floating in the middle where it should be more at the bottom. Next question. So I'm just going to draw this circle in so we know we're going to have that shape at the bottom. So we can rule out B because we don't have that here. And then just going to look for anything else. So here we've got two of these quarters of a circle. Here we've got 3. Here we've got 2. So in this one we're going to have 3 as well. So that's why the answer is C. Here we've got 1, 2, 3. It's not D. As you can see, these ones are a bit flatter. And in the question figure, they're not flat like that. They're all the same size. And it's not A because there's only 2 here. Next question. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit so you can see it a bit more clearly. So here we've got triangles in this box and the same in this box. So in this green box we know we're going to have these shapes. So that's why we can rule out A and B. Now let's look at the specifics of them. As you can see here, I'll do it a bit thinner so you can see. The triangle sort of curves, whereas here it's definitely straight. Again here, these rhombuses sort of curve, so that means in the answer box, in the answer figure, they're going to be straight. That's why the answer is C. Sorry, that's why the answer is D, not C, because here they're curved still when they need to be straight like that. Next question. Now we've got to find the odd one out. So this is like a backwards R, backwards Q, S, and Z. So the odd one out is B, because this is not a letter, it's an arrow. Whereas A, C, D, and E are all letters, just flipped. Next question. I'm just going to draw the shape in. So on this side we've got this, it forms this big triangle. I'm just going to do that here. As you can see, on this side it doesn't touch the actual corner. So that's why we can rule out B, because it's touching the corner here when it shouldn't be. Then we're going to have this. So I'm just going to draw it up like that. And we're going to have these two lines. So that's why the answer... That's why the answer is not D, because that's upside down. And the lines are not going through the triangle. Let's just look at it again. So here, the two lines are touching this line. So they're going to be touching this line here. So the answer to this one is C. Because this line is touching the bottom corner. And it should be, because look, this line is also touching the bottom corner. In A, it's not touching the bottom corner when it should be. Next question. So I'm just going to make these curves into circles to sort of see what shape it's going to look like. So to me, that looks like C. We've got the 4 circles in this order. So that's it.